Friends of 20-year-old Philip Boni Scrivano, still grieving the sudden loss of their friend, spent part of Labor Day at the growing makeshift memorial where he died in a fiery crash over the weekend.
I love Phil with all my heart, and I've known him for so long, and words can't even describe how we're feeling right now.
This surveillance video, obtained by New York One, shows a car jumping the curb and slamming into a gas pump on Bay Street. Scrivano was killed instantly. Police say his car was going at least 90 miles per hour in a 30-mile-per-hour zone. While they say speed was definitely a factor, they do not believe drag racing played a role. Scrivano's closest friends say they never believed reports he was drag racing were true. They say it simply was not in his character.
Wasn't the type of kid to drag race. He just got his car.
Responsible, respectful.
Wasn't a kid that you would see driving around the block, blasting music, speeding. Just wasn't him.
Deegan was one of the last persons to see Scrivano alive. The two were hanging at a club with some friends. Scrivano's last words to him:
"I'm walking these girls out, I'll be right back."
Scrivano never returned. Now Deegan wants answers, as do the rest of his friends. They say they don't know the passenger who was in Scrivano's car who miraculously survived, nor do they know Corey Swats, the driver of another car which pulled up to the scene right after the crash and who police later arrested for DWI. Scrivano's friends say no one has heard from either of them.
You were with him when he died. You know, and if you were a friend, where's your rest in peace? Where are you?
While toxicology reports on Scrivano are still pending, his friends have a message for the community. Be compassionate, not judgmental.
I asked them to put themselves in our shoes, put themselves in his parents' shoes. To lose his son like this, no one deserves to die like this.
In Tompkinsville, Sheri Richardson, New York One. 23-year-old Jihad Chesson faces murder charges for the stabbing death of 54-year-old Anthony Illage.
Did you stab somebody?
Nah, I wasn't conscious when I did that. I blacked out. This is due to my blackouts. I have blackouts.
Chesson says he was high when he did it. Court records say he confessed to police after his arrest. He said, "I did it. I killed him. We were pushing each other. The knife was in there and I did him with it. It was a blur." Illage was last seen at his home on January 27th. Police started looking for the victim after he was reported missing by family members. On Monday, Illage's body was found near a trash bin at Slate Street and Nicholas Avenue. Police say he was stabbed several times in the torso and his throat was also slashed.
I'm in shock that somebody would do that.
Illage's ex-wife says Illage will be remembered as a good father, extremely proud of his 17-year-old son, Brandon.
I worshipped him. He lit up like a Christmas tree.
What types of things did they do together?
Basketball. That was Anthony's love and Brandon's love as well.
Donna says her son is developmentally challenged and doesn't understand his father is gone. Her hope is to keep Illage's memory alive for the sake of her son.
He loved to dance. He loved to give his opinion, advice. A lot of people looked up to him. He loved his son, and
Chesson's attorney entered a plea of not guilty on his behalf. For now, Chesson will remain in jail without bail. In Stapleton, Sheri Richardson for New York One. Express buses are a lifeline for tens of thousands of Staten Island commuters, a lifeline that may soon flatline. That's because the MTA may soon reduce and even cut some routes to close a $400 million budget gap.
There's a lot of waste everywhere, and you know, Staten Island is the first borough that gets the axe.
The MTA is looking to discontinue the routes with the lowest ridership, including the X20, X18, and X16.
There's no seats.
But many say ridership is up.
We stand every single day all the way to Manhattan. We stand on the bus. The bus is packed all the way to the driver. There's no way that they can say it's no people.
If overcrowding isn't bad enough, some commuters say the proposed cuts would severely impact their daily lives.
It's actually going to double my commute time. I usually take, and they've already cut my bus already. The 18 used to have 4 buses between 7 and 8 o'clock. They've cut it down to 3.
I don't have 2 hours to go to on the ferry every day.
You want to get as many X1 riders
possible.
State Senator Diane Savino is calling on commuters to stand up and tell the MTA no go.
We want to make sure that we notify as many riders as possible that their service is at risk, and we want them to weigh in with the MTA. We're tired of the MTA making the same decisions over and over to reduce services to the outer boroughs.
The MTA will hold a public hearing on Staten Island on Tuesday, March 2nd at 6 p.m. at the College of Staten Island. For more information, go to mta.info. In Fort Wadsworth, Sheri Richardson, New York 1. Last week, an elderly man was brutally attacked, resulting in severe head trauma and brain damage. Now, police have arrested the suspected attacker. Police say on April 5th, around 11 p.m., 23-year-old Jesus Fernandez, also known as Choo Choo, followed 81-year-old Meyer Morris into his apartment building, up the elevator, attacked him, left him for dead, and robbed him of his car keys. Elected officials joined community leaders and the victim's family members to thank police for making an arrest and to send a message to other would-be criminals.
Anyone who thinks in New York City, if you're foolish enough to think you are going to get away with attacking and preying and robbing senior citizens, it is not going to happen in our city, and you better take a lesson from this. We're not going to tolerate it.
All of Astoria breathes a sigh of relief knowing that this person is behind bars.
But Morris remains in the hospital with no recollection of what happened.
He's unable to walk on his own. Someone can helps get him up, and he shuffles back and forth.
Alba Morris says they are hopeful his father will eventually be able to dress and feed himself, but he won't be able to cook or ever drive again.
My father's not the type of guy to fight. He's never fought with anybody in his life, so I would say, why did you have to injure him so badly?
Fernandez faces charges of assault, robbery, criminal possession of stolen property, and grand larceny. The victim's wife did not want to talk on camera, but she told New York 1 she would like police to upgrade the charges to attempted murder. As for people in this neighborhood, they say it's usually a safe and quiet community.
I feel safe, but now you have to look more carefully that if anybody follows you or anything like that, you know. It's a shame that these things happen and they always pick on the elderly.
They feel better knowing the suspect is behind bars. In Astoria, Sheri Richardson, New York 1.
Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down!
Councilman Jimmy Van Bramer, Assemblywoman Kathy Nolan, and members of Community Board 2 are sending a strong message to the owners of Casa Romana.
None of us will stand this kind of operation in our neighborhood that endangers the lives of young people.
Owners of the bar and banquet hall hosted a teen night last Friday when a fight broke out, resulting in 14 arrests, including the owners who were charged with criminal nuisance.
12 people under the age of 21 arrested. And you had 2 people, ages 15 and 17, stabbed. The 15-year-old was stabbed 13 times.
Both victims survived. Because of the incident, Van Bramer is drafting legislation to make it easier for cops to close a place down if it's operating illegally. He says the establishment has been cited numerous times for various business practices, including selling alcohol to minors.
This institution has now received 2 summonses for disorderly premise. And disorderly premise basically means that they cannot control their own bar and institution.
Some nearby business owners were also victims of Friday night's fight. In fact, some had their windows smashed when the brawl spilled out into the street.
Every weekend, there's always like incidents with cops and bulls. Always like people drinking and always like fights.
New York 1 spoke with owner Wilfredo Nieves by phone, who admitted to past violations. As for last Friday night, Nieves says they were not serving alcohol. He says what happened was unfortunate and he is upset by it. He says he understands the neighborhood's concerns and was already in the process of selling the business. Residents say good riddance.
This is a business owner that has placed a dollar bill higher than the life of a teenager and higher than a police officer. This will not stand.
In Sunnyside, Sheri Richardson, New York 1.